Hello, entry level superstars, and welcome to Module 1 Classroom Management. It's more than behavior, and it really is. I get lots of pushback about no, you got to have these students under control. If you don't, the classroom is going to be all out of control, and you are exactly right. However, all I'm saying is there are multiple aspects to classroom management. Having the desired student behavior is the end result. There is a process before that has to be implemented in order to get the desired result that you want. I will be your host. My name is Dr. Deidria Stevens. I hope you have some fun, but look, this is a lot of information, okay? So just sit back, relax, get yourself together, and let's go on this journey. Let's go for a ride, all right? I love people to participate too. So don't act like I want you to talk to the screen or whatever, but I want you to participate. It makes things go a lot easier. Who is Dr. Deidria Stevens? I am fun loving. I hope you can tell in the pitch of my voice, right? I am fun loving. I love to laugh, talk, and play. Like if I could do that all day, that's what I would do. All right. I have a great love for family. I have a great passion for education. I've been a teacher, transformational coach, assistant principal, dean of instruction, principal, consultant. I have done quite a few things in education, and I've been in education for almost 20 years, okay? So, well, actually, it has been 20 years I've been in education. So out of all of those things that I've done, the one thing that I absolutely enjoy is working with teachers, coaching teachers, and helping them to have a more successful year. Okay, why should you listen to me? And I hope, look at this picture over here to your left. All the way to the far left is me as a little girl, okay? And then on the right is me as a grown woman, okay? I think I have the same playful smile and the same playful personality. In any case, why should you listen to me? Well, first of all, you need to know that I post that picture there because it helps me to remember why I do what I do. I do what I do because I advocate for myself in students, in schools, everywhere I go, okay? And that's my passion behind what I do. So why should you listen to me? Well, as a first year teacher, my math scores were the highest over all the first year teachers in the building and only second to an experienced teacher by a tenth of a point. And guess who that experienced teacher was? It was my coach. She didn't call herself my coach. And guess what? She wasn't even assigned to me. I took it upon myself to go find her. I asked the principal who's the best teacher in your building. He told me. I went and found her. And I told her that she was going to be my coach. I took the initiative to invest in myself because I didn't want to wait around for someone to help me to be great. I knew I wanted to be awesome in the classroom. And so I got up and I did something about it. Okay. You should also listen to me because as an entry level teacher, I have never experienced classroom management issues, never. Okay. And I always had high parent engagement. All of this stemmed from my very first year of teaching. Okay. Because I was successful there during my first year, it was the foundation for every other success that I've talked to you about. And it led me into being a transformational coach. I was blessed with the opportunity to be a transformational coach. And I've also been a school administrator. And the schools that I've helped have experienced between 75 to 85% student growth. And it's been because of the principles that I'm about to teach you now. If you are a first year teacher and you are watching this, then I'm telling you, this is a very critical year for you, and it is very important. I have seen so many people talk about, hey, just hang in there and survive. I want to let you know that you do not have to survive your first year. You can actually thrive in your first year because I did. Did I get frustrated? Absolutely, I did. Did I get upset? Yes. But I got upset because my first check was over, it was like it was over $900, but not 1,000. And I had worked for 30 days very hard to get this first paycheck, and it was just so raggedy. So if you are making more than $1,000 a month, I don't want to hear about how you don't have enough money, because I don't even know how I lived off that. And I don't know how, I don't know. It was the Lord, I guess. Anyway, so this is why you should listen to me. Now, I am also CEO of Impact Teaching, Training, and Leadership Development. We are a learning institution that is designed to create, develop, and use research-based content to help you have high-quality professional learning experiences, not just for schools, but for business organizations as well. But for schools, it looks like providing new teacher support. For organizations or business organizations, it looks like providing leadership training and development, okay? Now listen, from me to you, let me tell you something. You can do this. I don't care how you feel right now. You're probably watching this webinar because you are so frustrated, but listen, let me tell you right now, you can do this, and you came to the right place, because I'm going to help you get out of this hole that you are in. Or if you're watching this video and it's the beginning of the year, I'm going to help you not get into a hole. Okay? So you can do this. 44% of educators leave within the first 5 years of their career in education. I just want to tell you or ask you, will you be a part of the 56 club, the 56% who decided to stay, the 56% who's rocking it right now, who may have been promoted and in different positions, the 56% that decided, no, I want to work with students. I want to make sure that they have a better quality of life. I want my students to do better than me. I want my students to grow and develop. I want to be able to, hey, let's be real, have a flexible schedule so I can be with my family. I want to be able to do all of those things. So I'm staying. I'm going to rock with education, and it's going to rock with me. If that's you and you're going to be a part of the hashtag 56 Club, I want you to put in the chat, if you're watching this, put in the chat, hashtag 56 Club, hashtag 56 Club, if you're going to rock with me. Okay, let's go. So welcome again to Entry Level Superstar Module 1. Classroom management is more than behavior. What in the world is classroom management? I am going to practice wait time, and I'm going to let you figure out what classroom management is. If there is a chat available for you in this replay, I want you to type in what you think classroom management is. This is wait time. All right, let's keep moving. So classroom management is more than behavior. Oh, and if you look to the right of me, you're going to see this cute guy in the bottom right corner. He has absolutely nothing to do with the presentation that I'm teaching right now, okay? But as I was putting the presentation together, I saw his picture. I thought it was cute. I thought it would be a great distraction for a brief moment. Okay, now back to classroom management. The processes a teacher uses to design an instructional environment that yields student achievements. This is a definition I made up. Why did I make it up? Because I can, and you can too. No limits, no boundaries, okay? The processes a teacher uses to design an instructional environment that yields student achievement. Notice I underline processes, okay? Because having a managed classroom is an end result. There is a process before that you must implement. Now, listen, my little newbies, listen. I get people who call me all the time, new teachers call me all the time, and they're asking me about, you know, how to put their classroom back together after it's been broken, like the Humpty Dumpty thing, okay? So I tell them, had you listened to me at the beginning of the year, you would not be in this mess. And they just say, I know, I know. You have to learn the rules before you break them. I know, and listen, nothing warms me more than those who enter the profession and they say, well, I used to be a social worker, or I used to work at the Boys and Girls Club, or I used to, listen, this is not that. This is not the Boys and Girls Club. This is not social services. This is not the youth group at your church. Those things do not qualify you to make sure students learn. Those things do not qualify you to make sure that you know how to get classroom management. I'm telling you, it's different when you have to distribute a product that no one wants. And that's what you are doing. Quick story, I had a student who was in my class. I taught math when I started. And I was telling the student, I said, get yourself together and have a seat. We are here to learn. And he raised his hand. I answered him, and he said, listen, Miss Stevens, I'm not here to learn. I'm here to eat lunch and to talk to my friends. I just learn while I'm here, okay? So essentially all students do that, okay? They learn while they are in your class, but that is not something that they want to do. So you have to be very strategic in how you do it, okay? Very strategic. At the end of the day, you have been hired to get student achievement, to make sure students learn. You can be a social activist, you can stand up for whatever you want, but at the end of the day, when you leave, students should have learned whatever it is you taught them, okay? And can I tell you something else? They do learn whatever it is you taught them. I'm gonna sit that right there and let you think about it. We'll talk about it more as you get deeper into entry-level superstar, right? All right, what does the research say? It says that more than anyone, your actions, the teacher's actions, have the most impact. And then there is a little study right below it. It was done in 1993. I get it. I get that it's really old, but I pulled it because they identified that the most impactful thing in your class, the most impactful strategy, okay, that affects student achievement is classroom management. This is important. Everything you do is important. Everything you don't do is important. More than your instructional coach, your assistant principal, your principal, executive director, assistant superintendent, all these people, more than them, you have the most effect and the most impact on your students. So everything you know is important, and everything you don't know is important. 3 reasons new teachers walk out on education within the first 5 years. They walk out on education because of curriculum overload, support, and classroom management. They walk out on all of those things. We will cover systems that you can put in place to address all of those things. And I'm going to give you access to a roadmap in this presentation. Okay? All right. And if you stick to the end of the presentation, then there are some free resources that you can have access to as well, okay? Entry-level superstar module 1 classroom management is more than behavior. Let's talk about CAPC. Listen, if you're gonna be in education, you have to get used to acronyms. We make an acronym out of everything, okay? So I put together all the components of classroom management, and I created the term CAPC. Now, I'm not going to teach it in order, so don't get disappointed, okay? But just remember CAPC, because that helps you to remember all the things that you need to manage in order to succeed in classroom management. You need to manage curriculum. You need to manage admin. That means all the administrative duties. I have some new teachers who get disappointed because they have paperwork to do. Yes. You also have paperwork to do. You also have to turn in reports. There are some admin duties that you have as a teacher. It's not just come in and create activities, talk, go home. No. Learning is a very strategic process, and you need to be ready to handle that. In order to be ready, one of the components you need to have managed is administrative duties. Parent community, okay? You need to have that together. Now, I tell new teachers, you can manage it now, or you can wait and it'll take up all your planning time later, because you're going to have to meet with these parents at some point. So go ahead and front load it so you don't have to be overwhelmed by it later. Student management, you have to make sure. That's the part that everyone focuses on, is student management. They always focus on that part, okay? So this part, I'm sure, is the part that you're frustrated with. But the other 4 parts, and the last one is you, because you have to manage you. It's only one of you. It's only one of you. So if you don't manage yourself, you're going to get tired, frustrated, overwhelmed, burned out. All of those things that you say on a day-to-day basis are going to happen when you don't have all 5 of these areas managed. So let's start with our goal. Our goal in classroom management is not how can I get them to do as they are told. The goal is how can I get them to learn? If you solely focus on how you can get students to learn, there are so many other actions and things that would have occurred that won't occur, because you're all focused on student learning. You need to get your students focused on learning. You need to get your parents focused on the learning. You need to get yourself focused on the learning, not how can I get them to do as they are told. What that thought reveals about you is that you are trying to control a situation, or you feel like you have lost control of a situation, okay? You are the teacher. You automatically are in charge of that class, and you automatically have control. How you manage it is by, or sustain the control that you've been given by title, is by focusing on student learning and positioning yourself as the expert in the room. Let me tell you, there have been several times students will come to my office as a school administrator, and they will tell me, Mr. So-and-so or Miss So-and-so, they don't know what they're doing. You know, kids know. When you're practicing on them and you don't have your stuff together, they know. And what does that do? It spills over into the way they behave, because they have to act out. And it's not always going to be in word. Sometimes it will be in deed. Okay? So let's unpack this. How do I get students who don't know me to pay attention to me? Okay? Or how do I get my students to pay attention to me? And then let's unpack it even further. Who already has an existing relationship with them that I can pull on? You want to know who has an existing relationship that you can borrow respect from? The parent community, guys. Dig into it. I know you want to avoid it at all costs, right? But don't. They are responsible. And I hear educators say, you know, make parents responsible, blah, blah, blah. Well, we have to do that. As a teacher, you have the power to make them responsible for their child's learning, okay? So what I used to do is figure out what is something that my parents can do on a day-to-day basis that, you know, I don't have to monitor or anything like that. For me, it was multiplication tables, right? And I had different websites available for them and said, hey, can you make sure you do this every day? But I didn't just do that. I started by explaining the data, explaining where we are as a school or as a class and where we're trying to go. And they bought into it, and then they agreed to do what I asked them to do. Make your parents responsible by positioning yourself as the expert and telling them what you need for them to do. You're going to have to, with classroom management, borrow respect from your parents, okay? Because they are with the students all the time. How do you borrow respect? 1, research every student. 2, you're going to call every parent. Now, this is another one of those don't break the rules until you learn them type things, okay? I have been in contact with several teachers, and I asked them, have you called all your parents yet? And then they'll pause and say no. Well, you know what? That's why your classroom is the way it is, because the students already figured out, oh, you know, 1, they already figured out you're new. 2, they have already figured out that you're not going to call parents. They know when they encounter a teacher who is not motivated to speak with their parents. They know, okay? And so what happens is, once they figure that out, even your students who have been raised according to our expectations and have parents that are involved and all of that, even those students start to act out in ways that are not favorable. And they do that because they know you're not going to call parents. Case in point, myself. Okay. And my mama worked at the school. Okay. She worked in the school system. And guess what? If I encountered a teacher that I knew wasn't going to contact my parent, oh, we're going to be friends and you're going to have a conversation with me about learning. Okay. Well, then I can do whatever I want in your class and say some things that I wouldn't normally say in front of my parents because you're not going to call them. You have to call every parent, okay? And you have to include them from the beginning. You have to eliminate all excuses so they won't say, well, why didn't you call me at the beginning? No, you're going to call them every step of the way, okay?